So I thought I would do a video while the trucks are here for the business. Basically, we're switching over how we're insured. So all the cars are sitting right now. But I have all the Rangers here, and I thought it'd be a good opportunity to show the difference between the Rangers. What I'm going to talk about is the 99 to 2011 Rangers and some of the different models that they made. And since I actually have 4 different models, I thought, hey, let's go ahead and show them off. So if you're looking at buying a used Ranger, what are some of the differences? To start off at the lower, basically there's 4 models. There's a XL, XL Sport, XLT, and then an Edge. So there's some other differentiating things in there, but of course you could option anything in the car that you ever bought. So if you decided that you went to a Ford dealer and you actually wanted the base model and get a 4-liter, the option was available, though they're rare to find. So to start, and just by looking at the cars, this is the lowest end model. This is the XL. So looking at the XL, you can tell they had a basic grille, just a black grille. They had the bumpers were black, as you can see there. So it didn't matter. They didn't paint the bumpers on them. These are very, very basic cars. When you look at these cars, you'll notice that they are very, very, very basic. This is what they call the Econoline cover, and this is the vinyl. This is not a leather, which I highly recommend. If you can get one of these in good condition, they're great because they're easy to wipe down and easy to keep clean. It was also available in a fabric, and this truck basically has nothing. Now I've upgraded the stereo in it, but they came with a basic stereo, AM, FM, no CD or anything like that, no MP3 at the time support. This one here has you could get these in manual and you could get them in automatic. This is an automatic and it's got AC. That's the only options. If you look at the steering wheel, there's no cruise control, volume control, pretty much nothing. This truck is as basic as it comes. Most of these XLs were sold with the 2.3 liter, which made 143 horsepower. I will say that this is probably the best truck to buy if you can find one that's clean. They're very easy to maintain. The 2.3 liter takes very little maintenance. The other thing that you'll notice on this, there's no pockets on the side doors. If you got an XLT, you got the pockets. XLs did not come with it, and it's a basic key. There's no remote control, power lock, sorry, or anything like that. And that's all these cars were. They didn't even come with the flip-up storage in the armrest. So you don't really have much on these cars. Again, great little cars for what they are. But the AC is good in them. And no cruise control. They get about 21 miles to the gallon, 22. So they're decent for a little truck. Next upgrade was the XL Sport. This is not an XLT Sport. I don't know if they ever made them. I've never seen one, but I'm sure that Ford probably offered it. These things had flares, the wheel flares. They had a bar up here. They had the step up, and that was pretty much the only upgrade. If you look at the doors, no pockets. This has the original stereo in it. It came with MP3 and a CD player, and this one did come with cruise control, but again, no power doors, locks, just like the other one, or the XL. It's all manual, doors and locks. These were sold mostly as a super caps. You can see I got the extra space back there, and it does have the opening of the console here, center console, or the armrest. So from that aspect, these were a good upgrade over the XL. I do like that it has the cruise control. This is the one I personally drive the most. This has lower miles. This came with a 3 liter. You got 158 horsepower versus 143. This thing drives fine on the freeway. I have to admit the 2.3 liter, when you get over about 70, can struggle a little bit. So, though I'm not a big fan of the 3.0, and I'll go over that. But other than that, these are very basic trucks as well. I guess the biggest upgrade over the other one is the stereo, the armrest, storage, and the cruise control. Note on these cars is that this car actually came with the 8.8 rear end. This is still an open differential. That is something you really need to search. If you really want to get a truck with an 8.8 versus a 7.5, you really need to check it out, because while most super cabs were supposed to come with a 7.5, is what a lot of people say, that is not true. I'll show you the XLT. It has a 7.8. It does not have the 8.8. So you can't, just because a truck is super cab doesn't mean it's got the 8.8 rear end, and just because you got a 3.0 doesn't mean you have an 8.8 rear end. I had another truck that I no longer have that had the 3.0, and it was an XLT, and it still had the 7.5. So the sports and the 3.0s did come with the 8.8 rear end. This is the XL standard model. This is the 7.5 rear end. Again, they're open differentials as well. The only thing to keep in mind is how you can tell the difference. One's more oval than the other one. That's how you can sort of look at them closely. It's not flat on the sides. So, but again, check your differential. The 7.5 is fine. They seldom leak. I will say it's rare that I see a 7.5 rear end leak. I've seen much more leaks, but if you plan on upgrading the engine in your truck, adding more horsepower, you definitely want the 8.8 and not the 7.5 rear end. Some other things to note, again, you can see they painted on the XL Sport the top bumper but not the lower bumper. It's black, and that's the same thing with the XLTs. Some of them did have completely, I've owned XLTs that have had complete painted bumpers, but it depends on the year. And now we're switching over to a XLT. The XLT had the nicer grille on it, and they also have a remote control on it, so it's got power locks and doors on this thing. See, everybody says, oh, super cabs come with 8.8s. This does not. So obviously, looking at this truck, this came with a CD player stock too. It's the same stereo that's in the XL Sport, but you can see it's got cruise control, it's got power locks and windows, remote access key, and then the console again, and this opens up as well. They did change the cup holder design. The cup holder design used to be, you had one right there, and I'll show that at my edge, but they put them down here on later models. I believe it was in 2006 that they changed over. They also got rid of the key here in later models for turning off the airbags. These have a sensor on them. So of all the models to get, the only problem I have is these switches have a tendency to go bad over years. So again, what I like the XL Sport models is things just don't break. But it's not uncommon that you have to replace the switches. They're very expensive, hard to find. So unless you're just stuck on an old, one of these older cars, or you're stuck on the fact that you want a car with automatic windows and door locks, then you just may be spending some money to buy switches. They have tendency to go bad, and I've had to replace a lot of the, especially the older trucks on there. But this is an XL. Again, the biggest thing, the pockets, the space in the armrest, cruise control, and the locking doors. Other than that, the interior is very similar. Seats are very similar. You could get the same color seats, the fabric seats. These seats were also available in the XL, so not a lot difference. Obviously, with the extended cab, some of them came with, or the super cab came with seats in the back. Not all my models have seats, so some of them did not come with the seats. So you need to check that too. If you get a super cab and you want to put people in the back, there may just be covers in the back and not actual seats to use. But legally, all three trucks can fit 3 people across the front. There's a middle seat belt, so you can legally fit 3, and if you have the seat belts and the seats in the back, you can fit another 2. The next model is the Edge. This is my oldest car. The other ones I showed you were 2008 through 9. This is my oldest truck. The only reason I bought this to be a rental because someone had spent a lot of money to put a lift kit so people can rent this to go off, can go minor off-roading, more like a you know, camping, overlanding type off-roading. It is not a four-wheel drive model. The Edge came with matching painted bumpers, lower and upper. Came with a unique grill. I always thought this was not an original grill, but I was informed in looking at the brochures that is the original grill. I'm just not a fan of it, but it is what it is. They only came in extended or super cabs. Again, it's like the XL in the fact that it's got the pocket holders, the automatic door locks, and I don't know what the original stereo would look like that came in this. This is multiple iterations of stereos. Again, cruise control. And this is what I was talking about, the old armrest. While it did have a storage, they had the cup holder here. This is not original. That came with the car. So I don't know what the original looks like. And it did have the ability to turn off the airbags. It didn't have a sensor on the seat. And the fabric was a little bit different in the older years. But it is a nicer fabric in the Edge overall. That being said, I would not, for what the difference of these cars was and what someone may want for an Edge, may not be worth spending the money to get the upgrade. There's a couple of the things that are worth it. This is an easier truck to lift, and I'll show you why. This one here is a 3-liter. Again, these were also available in the this was available in a 4-liter as well. It was not available in the 2.3 that I'm aware of. So if you got the 4-liter, it was 207 horsepower. The other thing that really sort of sucks about the 3 liters, a couple of things, even though that they're prone to low oil pressure problems, they're also known to be, sensors are always going bad in them. You're always replacing sensors and stuff like that. Also, they get crappy gas mileage. So the 3-liter and the 4-liter actually get almost identical gas mileage. Now, the 4-liter went from a push rod in its later years to an overhead valve, a single overhead valve, which is pretty much a similar engine that was in the Mustang, similar horsepower and everything. There's a lot of debate which one's better. I like the single overhead cam engine better. Personally, I like working on overhead cam engines better, but that's just my opinion on it. The 4-liters are, even though a lot of people claim that they're an upgrade to a 3-liter engine, I have a hard time with that. There could be some truth there. It could be in the same family, but these 3.0 liter engines were really a carryover. A matter of fact, the camshaft synchronizer just replaced the spot where the distributor was. So these engines were made for a lot of years. Ford ran this engine into the ground, so it was behind on technology by the time they discontinued the engine, which I believe was in 2009, and you could only get the 4-liter or the 2.3. So you don't get any, if you can get a 4-liter for a decent car, get the 4-liter. It's the same gas mileage as a 3.0 liter. This truck's got torsion bars. What's cool about the Edge is you can actually get to the oil pan. You can change the gasket easier. You don't have to lift the engine up. They're a little bit easier mechanically, but the parts are harder to come by. But with the torsion bars, you can basically adjust them to put the car at a higher lift without having to spend all the time with the, the lift kits and stuff like that. They're just much easier to lift. So if you're looking at lifting a Ranger, I recommend an Edge. Highly recommend it. Also, if you know that you have a lot of leaks if you get it, and you know that the oil pan gasket's got to come out, it's just really easy to get in there and change the oil pan gasket. Just super easy. The other thing to keep in mind with these Edge models is I'm only talking in this video 2-wheel drive vehicles. If you go with 4-wheel drive, there's some other things. I know nothing about the 4-wheel drive models. I never bought them, so I'm not going to pretend to talk about them. But the Edge was really designed to be a pre-runner to compete with a 4-wheel drive at a cheaper price. So if you were looking for a pre-runner kit, great model to get. It came with the 8.8 rear end. All Edges came with 8.8 rear ends. This one here, again, they come with an open diff. What's cool about these cars, though, is you can always put a locking diff in it, which I'm going to do, and probably a video I'll upload at a later date. After showing you the difference in the different models, depending on what you're buying the truck to do, if you're just looking for a truck to haul stuff and weekend fun, I recommend getting these XLs. These cars are actually identical, different color of course, but they're identical years, everything. I recommend the XLs. You know, if you're just getting around, you don't need a lot, go with these, and go with the 2.3 liter. 2.3 liter is indestructible, gets great gas mileage. If you can get even better gas mileage on it if you drive very tame. If you think you're going to daily drive and you want a nicer truck, XL Sport's not a bad way to go, but I would recommend an XLT or a Edge model. Edges are not always the best vehicles. They're usually pretty beat up like all the ones I have, but if you want one to convert to an off-road and you really want the lift kits and not to go broke lifting it, Edge is the way to go. Thanks guys for watching. Thought I would film this while I had all my trucks here. Thanks.
So if you like this video, go ahead and smash the like button below. If you want to see more videos like this in the future, go ahead and click the subscribe button and the bell if you want some notifications. See you next time on Chasing Mustangs.
Thanks.
All right.
Great job.
Yeah, I see it like literally every day.